Hello there, you're tuned in to 7Edition. I'm Amanda Koh, and these are your headlines. MACC to reopen all cases of public interest early next year. Selangor Sultan warns public not to be misled by communist struggle. And Myanmar's leader calls Rohingya genocide claim as factually misleading. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission will reopen cold case files involving public interest early next year. Its Chief Commissioner, Latifah Koya, said the Commission had received complaints regarding high-profile cases which were closed despite clear evidence.
So kes-kes yang kami sebut adalah kes-kes yang bersifat profil tinggi. Sudah tentu sebab ianya yang menyebabkan ada kepentingan awam. Jadi berlakunya sesuatu rasuah dan kenapa ianya telah dikatakan tutup ataupun NFA dan sebagainya, kami perlu ada satu jawapan yang jelas. Kalau tidak, rakyat akan rasa bahawa SPRM tidak serius dalam siasatan mereka.
Bagi ahli politik,
saya tak boleh komen.
Latifah said the MACC probe would involve checking at what level the instruction was issued to close the case. On the enforcement of Section 17A of the MACC Act to enable prosecution of commercial organizations involved in corrupt practices, she said the new provision would protect the employees who were forced by their employers to offer bribes. This provision will come into effect from June next year. She was met after taking part in Soal Rakyat program at Sri Pentas Bandar Tama, which will be aired on TV3 tonight. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim today tweeted that he is ready to cooperate with the police over investigations into the sexual misconduct allegation hurled against him by a former PKR research assistant. The PKR president also thanked police for expediting the probe into the case. His statement was a response from Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Director Datuk Hozir Muhammad, who said police would be recording statements from Datuk Seri Anwar and other witnesses. Police have already recorded the statement of Muhammad Yusuf Rotha, who made the accusation against the Port Dickson MP. He lodged a police report on December 7th at the Sentul District Police Headquarters, alleging that Datuk Seri Anwar sexually assaulted him in early October. The case is being investigated for assault using criminal force to outrage the modesty of another person. Meanwhile, police have recorded the statement of two witnesses regarding the national anthem, Negaraku, being sung in Mandarin at a Chinese vernacular school in Seremban. The two witnesses were an official at the District Education Office from the Negeri Sembilan Education Department and the SJKC headmaster.
In a 1 minute and 23-second video clip, students are seen singing the Negaraku in Mandarin. The video was allegedly recorded on September 26, 2018 at an SJKC in Seremban. Investigators said arrangements have been made to record the statements from other witnesses over the incident. On December 6th, the Education Ministry said in a statement that it would not compromise with anyone who breached regulations involving the Malaysian Constitution directly or otherwise. At the same time, police are also looking into the incident of the national anthem being sung in Arabic, allegedly at a national school in Gurun, Kedah. The investigation papers on the two cases will be referred to the Attorney General's chambers together with the suggestions based on the outcome of the probes.
The Home Minister today said the Independent Police Complaints of Misconduct Commission 2019 or IPCMC bill needs to be improved before it can be tabled in Parliament. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin added that there are certain terms in the bill that need to be looked into to ensure they are fair and just to all stakeholders. Speaking to reporters, Tan Sri Muhyiddin hopes the fine-tuning of the IPCMC bill can be resolved before the upcoming Parliament session in March.
Saya sendiri sebagai Menteri Dalam Negeri berpendapat masih ada ruang. Bukan bantahan itu sampai tak mau langsung. Tapi ada pasal-pasal tertentu dalam akta dan undang-undang yang dicadangkan difikirkan perlu dipastikan sampai ke satu peringkat dianggap dia lebih adil, lebih saksama dan selepas itu bolehlah dibawa semua ke Parlimen.
The government recently postponed the second and third readings of the IPCMC to take into account the views of various stakeholders, including the police. The bill was first tabled in a Dewan Rakyat on July 18th, and its aim is to replace the Enforcement Agency Integrity Commission to improve the integrity and capabilities of the police force. "500 foreign workers were inspected at the Kuala Terengganu City Centre KTCC project construction site, with at least 70 of them found to have committed immigration offences. Some workers even tried to flee during the integrated operation this morning. The Terengganu Immigration Department and the police said that among the offences were abusing social visit passes and not possessing legal documents. 6 foreign workers were then detained and taken to the Ajil Immigration Detention Depot in Hulu Terengganu for further action. The government has set aside a one-off 120 million ringgit allocation of the 4th Rolling Plan 2020 under the development budget to repair and upgrade 120 court buildings nationwide. The Economic Affairs Minister today said the repair and upgrading works would take about 2 years. In a statement, Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali said the ministry has taken serious note of the applications to upgrade many of the old court buildings that have critical damage. He added that their conditions will not only affect the court's operations, but also the safety of judges, court staff, lawyers, and the public. The affected courts are located in 13 states, including Perak, Johor, Selangor, Kedah, Kelantan, and Sabah. Among the works that would be carried out would include major repair on roofs, walls, pipes, air conditioning, and fire prevention system. Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, decreed that the people in the state must not let themselves be confused between historical facts and myths on the struggle of the Malayan Communist Party, MCP. He called on the people to study history thoroughly in order to know our country's historical facts as a guide for a better life.
The Sultan stressed that by understanding historical facts, the people will be able to appreciate the huge sacrifices made by members of the security forces, either in the Royal Malaysia Police or the armed forces. He said the MCP's struggle was not based on the concept of forming an independent country which practices parliamentary democracy, even though they were said to have fought colonialism in Malaya.
Di samping itu, ramai rakyat negara ini yang terdiri daripada kaum Melayu, Cina, India dan kaum-kaum lain juga turut terkorban akibat serangan pengganas komunis. Kehidupan rakyat pada ketika itu sentiasa dalam ketakutan akibat serangan yang dilakukan oleh anggota Parti Komunis Malaya ini. Banyak perkampungan dan balai polis telah diserang dan rakyat dan anggota polis dibunuh dan diseksa oleh anggota Parti Komunis Malaya ini.
The Sultan made this decree in conjunction with his 74th birthday today.
Coming up after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Now on to the foreign news. At least 6 people are dead, including a police officer and 2 suspects in the latest high-profile U.S. shooting on Tuesday, prompting a security lockdown of schools in the area. Authorities say the investigation into what started it all could last weeks or even months, and additional measures will be announced soon by the police to protect key locations. The hours-long shootout began around midday when two officers investigating a homicide approached the suspects at the Bayview Cemetery in Jersey City. This is where the first shooting unfolded. One of the cops, a 40-year-old veteran, Jersey City Police Detective Joseph Seals, was shot dead. The suspects then took refuge in a grocery store where firing continued and the 5 bodies, including 3 civilians, were later found.
You start seeing the detectives and everyone hopping the fences, trying to make a perimeter. The SWAT ended up going up our building, up to the roof. There was people with rifles on all the other sides and the roofs. They were just everywhere.
2 officers were shot. One recently gave his life and was pronounced at the Jersey City Medical Center. And the second officer was shot in the shoulder, and he should recover. And then 2 other officers are receiving medical treatment due to shrapnel. We entered the building about 10 minutes ago. There were multiple deceased inside the building.
According to the mayor, the locations of the attack had been targeted by the suspects. Bomb squad officers were examining a stolen U-Haul vehicle that may contain an incendiary device. Officials have not released the names of the shooters or others who died, as police were still working on making positive identification of the victims. According to the local officer, no clear reason for the shooting has been given and is still under investigation.
Part of the investigation, I can tell you we have no evidence that's pointing in that direction at this time, but that's certainly on the table.
U.S. residents have become accustomed to shootings, everywhere from churches to schools and cinemas, and firearms were linked to nearly 40,000 deaths of various kinds in 2017. The United States on Tuesday blacklisted 4 Myanmar military leaders in the toughest action taken by Washington for alleged human rights abuses against the Rohingya and other minorities. One of the key points it highlighted in a statement was a claim that forces of Commander-in-Chief Min Aung Hlaing were responsible for the 2017 military crackdown. The additional sanctions came months after Washington faced criticism that the earlier travel ban was not enough. As well as the army chief, the sanctions targeted Min Aung Hlaing's deputy, Seo Win, and 2 subordinates who headed the elite army divisions that spearheaded the crackdown on the Rohingya. The sanctions freeze any U.S. assets held by those targeted and prohibit Americans from doing business with them. In a statement, the U.S. Treasury Department claimed that Burmese military forces had committed serious human rights abuse against ethnic minority groups in Myanmar. The military has long denied accusations of widespread abuses and said its actions were part of a fight against terrorism. The U.S.'s announcement occurred on the same day the country's civilian leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, attended the first day of hearings at the UN's highest court in The Hague, where she will lead Myanmar's defense against the charge of genocide. As the proceeding is underway, protesters gathered outside the UN's Court of Justice in The Hague, shouting for justice and holding placards protesting Rohingyas' violence.
We are like a slave. We are slave of the Burma. That's why I came here to support. I am a Rohingya. I support to my peoples because we are many suffering since long time. We has many history.
Now at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, on Wednesday, Suu Kyi defended Myanmar's government, calling the allegations of genocide as factually misleading. Addressing a bench of 17 judges from around the world, the 74-year-old leader dismissed reports of state violence against Rohingya Muslims and again blamed the conflict on an uprising by separatist insurgents. In an unprecedented move, the former human rights icon acknowledged disproportionate force may have been used at times by the military, but said the conflict in the western Rakhine state was complex and not easy to fathom.
Please bear in mind this complex situation and the challenge to sovereignty and security in our country when you are assessing the intent of those who attempted to deal with the rebellion. Surely, under the circumstances, genocidal intent cannot be the only hypothesis.
Myanmar will take the floor in turn later that same day at 4:30.
She added that the Gambia has placed an incomplete and misleading picture of the factual situation in Rakhine State. The Gambia, a small West African country, launched a case against Myanmar at the ICJ, alleging it violated the 1948 Genocide Convention. On to the updates from the New Zealand volcanic eruption. Volcanologists have warned that there is a high chance the White Island volcano could erupt again within the next 24 hours, further disrupting efforts to recover the bodies of 8 missing people. Police have described the island as too dangerous, with volcanic tremors significantly rising. In the short term, the threat of another eruption could hamper authorities' ability to go to the island and recover the bodies. On Wednesday, the island's alert level is at 3 out of 5, meaning that a minor local eruption is occurring. Experts say there has also been vigorous steaming and mud jetting out from several craters created by the eruption. Police said they were meeting with scientists to discuss when they could safely go to the island, but noted that anyone who went there will likely encounter serious physical and chemical hazards. 47 people were on White Island when the eruption occurred on Monday. Of those rescued, 6 people have since been confirmed dead, including a Malaysian. Brisbane's 47-year-old Julie Richards and Jessica Richards, 20, are the first Australian victims of the New Zealand volcano to have been named. The body of Gavin Dallow, a third Australian victim named, was also recovered. He claimed that his stepdaughter, 15-year-old Zoe Hosking, was presumed dead and her body is yet to be found. For some people, the idea of starting a business with a sibling is unthinkable, but for others, there's no one they'd rather share the journey of entrepreneurship with. In this week's Corporate Queen segment, we meet the 2 sisters behind the online fashion label Double Wood and how they work together to overcome challenges in growing their business into the brand it has become today. This is Helen and Helene Tan, the co-founders of Double Wood. Their business started in 2007 when Helene was a law student who had a love and passion for fashion that she decided to make a career out of it. She then convinced her sister Helen, who has a background in graphic and industrial design, to partner up with her in this venture, which started off as an online pre-loved clothes business. 12 years later, Double Wood ships for free across Malaysia and internationally to as far as the US. Although being a fully online fashion store has its advantages, like having a greater customer reach and lower overhead costs, it also has its own risk.
I think about being 100% e-commerce, functioning as a fully 100% online. I think that we are very susceptible and prone to the fragility of technology. Having said that, I think that if it's handled by inexperienced person or we don't have any experience in all this technology, I think it can cause the business a very big loss if it's not managed properly.
In 2015, Double Wood almost came to an end when their website crashed because of a hard disk failure. For 2 weeks, they had no business coming in and had to rebuild their entire customer database from scratch. From there, the sister duo learned the importance of having a disaster recovery plan.
We are better equipped. Now we switch our website to a cloud server, and we have a disaster recovery in place so that if one website breaks down, we can have another one comes back up immediately. So yeah, I think it's one of the challenges that we've learned and improved along the way.
Other challenges they face in the business includes dealing with external factors such as labor shortage in their factory in China. However, the biggest one is dealing with human errors.
We have human errors. Human errors is one of the most challenging issues that I've been facing all this while. So I believe that I'm still learning. I'll take that as a lifelong learning, keeping in mind that is a thing that I have to really manage from time to time, because I believe that all those challenges actually make us grow stronger. Lift us up, motivate us to move forward.
The passion that Helen and Helene share in fashion and design is without a doubt the drive to Double Wood's success. Their management styles, however, proved to be quite different.
Personally, I'm more of a micromanage kind of person. For the first 1 year or maybe 2 years, I would establish trust between myself and my co-workers first. And then I will go about gauging their interest and passion, because I believe that if everyone is given the equal opportunity to excel and the freedom to do their own tasks, I think they will definitely bloom in their respective job scope.
I'm more to do it all kind of person. I'll prefer to hands-on on most of my tasks, so that I'll be able to self-reflect and improvise from within. Then only I'll be able to guide to my staff what to do. So I believe that having both of us in a company would actually make an organization a whole.
Moving forward, the fashionistas will be focusing on research and development of new designs and exploring how they can use AI to improve their customer experience on their website.
That's very important in e-commerce, because everything they just see on.
Let's take a short break, but when we come back, CCTV footage catches moment of dramatic impact. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Asia-Pacific Economic Forum 2020 will be held amid global economic uncertainties. As the host, Malaysia is committed to ensure the forum's success by focusing on redefining the role of trade and investment from one that is solely for wealth creation to one that is also able to deliver social and economic inclusivity.
Guided by the theme, optimizing human potential towards a future of shared prosperity, APEC 2020 Senior Officials Meeting Chair Hairil Yahri Yaakob said Malaysia will focus on strengthening the economic integration among all 21 APEC member countries.
Where more than 300 participants gathered here, where we were able to share with the participants what is the themes, what is the priorities for Malaysia as we host APEC in 2020, and we received a lot of feedback, because engagement with stakeholders is very, very important, because without stakeholders it's very, very difficult for APEC economists to come up with a very solid document on how we move forward in increasing, deepening the regional economic integration among Asia-Pacific economies.
In line with efforts to strengthen the Bogor Goals' direction for free and open trade and investment in the region, Malaysia will initiate the process of vision development post-APEC 2020 through special sessions involving the senior officials. All these new initiatives will be translated through programs like Digital Wealth Awards.
It's really making sure that the digital economy, all the initiatives benefit folks who are not in the mainstream, who are not living in the cities. You know, if you're in the city, you have access to internet and broadband. It's not a problem. Yeah. And we always say that, yes, that's okay, but what about people in the interior? And yesterday was an example of how we can touch those lives as well.
The APEC 2020 Senior Officials Meeting will continue in Putrajaya from January 3rd till 22nd. It is expected that some 16,000 delegates will attend the 120 meetings to be held in 5 cities around the country throughout next year.
Whereas Malaysia returned to positive territory after recording 2 straight days of losses. The benchmark FBM KLCI rose 1.4 points to 1,563.19 compared with yesterday's close. On to stocks to watch. Domestic traffic for airports in Malaysia last month continued its upward trend, increasing by 6.2% year-on-year to 4.3 million passengers. A growth that is potentially attributable to the shift in airlines' capacity from the international to the domestic sector. Meanwhile, in the international passenger traffic for Malaysian operations, it increased by 3.3% year-on-year to reach 4.4 million passengers. Hence, contribution from ASEAN sector is expected to be further boosted with such agreements in place. Next and the last on the list, Bermas Auto reported a weak set of results for its 2020 second quarter due to a setback in deliveries of the all-new Mazda CX-8 and facelift CX-5 due to the delay of regulators' pricing approval of these models. However, the weakness is expected to be temporary. B Auto declared an interim dividend of 2.75 cents per share, bringing the first half of 2020's interim dividend to 6 cents per share, representing a generous 95% payout. Now let's hop on to Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. Now, failure at slamming the brakes on time, a lorry laden with sand mercilessly smashes into a BMW sedan at a toll booth on Senai Desaru Expressway, Johor on Monday. Luckily, no casualties were reported. The dramatic 18-second CCTV footage of the incident was uploaded to Facebook, where it went viral, raking in at least 55,000 views. Take a look. Kulai Police Chief Superintendent Tok Beng Yao said the 38-year-old lorry driver lost control over his vehicle after he hit a pothole before crashing the victim's sedan at one of the toll lanes. Investigations revealed that the incident occurred during heavy rain, and all those involved in the accident have made their respective reports. Checks showed that the lorry driver possesses 14 past traffic offences, with 6 cases still unsettled. Action has been taken towards the driver under the road traffic rules. Now updated as of 7 p.m. Here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Penguin parents care for their young for several months, usually until their nestlings are strong enough to hunt for food on their own. An example of that can be seen in this adorable footage that wraps up 7 Edition this evening. With that, I'm Amanda Koh. Thanks for tuning in and have a great night.